got to question anything to do with larger than life in this business. There are questions that are yet unanswered and situations that are yet unaccounted for. Now, it's one generation passeth, another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. It's taken from the gospel somewhere or another. Now, the interesting thing, what I would like to put to world, oh world, my question is this: is there anyone on planet Earth who is able to validate the existence of a man called, wait for it, Moses? You see, because all I have managed to hear on the lectern stand, reading from a well-known book, is something to the effect of a baby has been seen, and a baby has been floating down the River Nile, and a baby has been rescued, a baby has been taken to the princess, a baby has been raised in Egypt, a baby has been relocated to Midian, a baby is now a grown man. A baby at long last has become a vessel for the outpouring of voices, even the voice of God. Moses, Moses, remove shoes and socks from off your feet because of the reasons which, notice, etc., etc. The thing is, this is what? A story. We are inextricably bound up with the storytelling idiom. That is part and parcel of the culture in which we were raised and socialized. So much so that, look, the question that I would like to put to you now is, what is the purpose of the story inside the book? Never mind outside the book, in the world of naturalistic dialogue. But let us stay inside the book with the glit and the glamour and the sparkle and the sensationalism and the miracle and the magic casement, magic formula, like the rod is being stretched across the sea in order to open up dry land so that the people can be delivered. Good. But the moment we come down, come out of her, my people, because it might even be myths. How do we know it is all true? So once we've come back to earth, there are some hard questions that we're going to be asking. For instance, when was this man born? When did he die? Why did he die? How did he die? Where was he buried? Where is his grave? So that I'll be able to carry some flowers in the act of pilgrimage. That is a hard an even harder question to ask. Was he a law-abiding citizen? No! He killed a man and buried the man in the sand. And worse still, when he came down from the mountain, you're not going to believe this, he killed 3,000 people in one day. Go into Exodus 32 verse 27. You will see for yourselves. These things have got to be questioned. All right. Now, while my feet is firmly on the ground, what I'm now going to do is to advise anyone who needs validation for the existence of Moses: head towards East Midlands Airport, relocate to London Airport, relocate again to Cairo, the capital of Egypt. Once you have got there, just try and make provisions in order to get down into the West Bank, the Valley of the Kings. So when you get down there, ask the tour guide to take you to the tomb of you-know-who. Do you know something? The reason I have decided to collate and package and present these words together is that there are questions in that Bible, the literature to which we've been raised and socialized all our lives. Now, I am not the only one who is asking this morning, is Moses a real character? Is he fake? Is he myth? the Cecil B. DeMille of the United States, emerging from out of the 1950s. He was going to create a film, put a film together, produce it and direct it, entitled The Ten Commandments. Therefore, he sent a team of researchers to go out into the Holy Land, Damascus, Israel, and Egypt, and all of them came back empty-handed. So you know what? He decided to go along, because most of you have already seen the film, including myself. He stood up and he told us. Now, I'm sure many people have been to see this film, but have not taken note of what Cecil B. DeMille says. He's telling us in plain black and white, look, folks, the character that comes nearest to any semblance of a Moses is called Ramses II. Now, for me to explain who Ramses II is, coming from out of the ancient Egyptian phenomenon, I will have to say to you that if you need to go into the Bible and crack the code, because the Bible is written in codes, we know that. Anything to do with codes is to do with language. And so go into Ramses, Ra-me-ses. Ra means the unseen, the all-powerful creator whom we cannot see with our naked eyes. Ses means many births of equal standing. And mes, Ra-mes, means to give birth, to call out, to create the semblance of a life form. So, alright then, let's look at the word Moses. Where does the word Moses come from? To crack that code once again, we will have to go back into ancient Egypt. The word Moses or Moshe or Thothmos, they're all Egyptian words to get the understanding of what is being put before us on a plate. Well, so Mos is singular. Moses is plural. Now, I'll just prove this to you, for instance. And the child grew. These are the words of Exodus 2 verse 10. And she brought him to the princess. And the princess, he, as a result, became her son and named him Moses. Now what I'm trying to say to you, because we've cracked the code today, his name is Mos. What does Mos mean? Mos mean child that is drawn out of the water. What does Moses mean? Plural. Many children, many births of the same standing. And what does Thothmos, T-H-O-T-M-O-S-E mean? A Thoth is a master teacher, and Mos is the child who will one day, according to prophecy, become that leader and master teacher. Now let's go closer. For instance, if we say child drawn out of the water, we've got to decode the word water. Wherever we see water in the scriptures, it means masses of people, crowds in their hundreds, in their thousands, or even millions. Revelation 13, a beast rising out of the sea. We're talking about Alexander the Great, a beast, or Julius Caesar rising from out of the people. Well, now, this Moses we're talking about, there are many characteristic profiles. If we were to take the Right Honourable Dr. Eric Williams, is a Moses for his own people. The John F. Kennedy is a Moses for his people. Winston Churchill is a Moses who once said words to the effect of, I have not become the king's first minister in order to preside over the liquidation of the British Empire. And Nelson Mandela once said, never will South Africa become the bedrock of a country that has been despised and put down. And as long as I live, South Africa will rise. All of these people, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, they are Moses. So here is a pith, a center stage of correction. I am saying to you on the basis of further study that Exodus 2 verse 10 needs to be updated. The man is not called Moses. He is called Moses because he is one person. Now the other phenomenon, we need to deal with this. Is he real or not? This is what we need to know today so that we can go home, we can be gratified. Once we have been brought into appropriate identification with extra information, just research, study to show thyself approved, a workman needing not to be ashamed. Now what Cecil B. DeMille was saying, that listen, don't hold up your hands, don't wring your hands in despair, and so that down in the valley of the kings there is nobody called Moses. There are no Israelites. No, they did not locate in that region at all. Now, if I would like to say the indications ascribed to the wicked King Pharaoh is to do with Arabia. Now, how can I just collate this information? It did not happen at all in the Nile Valley. I tell you why. Because politics, one government succeeds in order to take over from the other government. When the Ptolemaic rulers of Egypt took over from the ancient Egyptians, they tried to rubbish and effectuate what it called a smear campaign. They would not give credit to the fact that the mathematics and the pyramid builders and the astronomy and the algebra and the arithmetic, they would much prefer to take the credit. Now, Ptolemy II, who carried out this cruel campaign against Israel, do you know what he calls himself? S-O-T-E-R, meaning Savior. Savior divine. He calls himself. Bow down and worship. Where does he get this idea that he must be worshipped? He got that idea from Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great landed 223 BC in Egypt and said to the African Egyptians, you can see the African phenotypical features and the pyramids, flat nose, thick lips. Do you know something? Melaninated people. Alexander the Great was saying to them, bow down and worship me. So they're saying, no thank you, we don't believe in having foreigners to come inside the Egyptian mystery system in order to manipulate us. So this is the way that Ptolemy Sota, the second Ptolemaic white rule in Egypt, they rubbish, they literally. So I'm trying to put before you, there is politics within religion itself. I hope that if you need more information on this, because it's a touchy subject, there is a book I would love to be able to recommend to you. Just go on the internet and look for the book that says in its title, Egypt Knew No Pharaoh Nor Israelites, by Ashraf Ezzat. Now, here endeth my readership this afternoon. We will talk later.
from the point of view